everybody. Hope you're all doing well. Thanks
Yeah.
for joining us again.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah.
Before we start, we just want to say a really quick thing just about what's happened in Southport this week. You know, we're thinking of everyone involved, the families, and all of that. It's been a bit of a dark week.
Yeah, it's been really strange, and I feel as if there's that. I feel like even we really don't know how to process it, because it's like, how do you what can you say in these kind of situations, and what can you do?
I can't think of anything like this that's happened as well. It's like so close to home, and just something you don't think that would ever happen. So close by, and
so then when it happens, it's like, how do you process this? But our thoughts with all the families and all the victims and all the like the first responders. And there is we were just looking then, there is a charity that's been established called Swifties for Southport, which looks amazing.
It's like a crowdfunder. And then obviously there's Alder as well. I think that's where all the money's going. That's like our local children's hospital.
Yeah, which is amazing that the community's pulled together. So we're going to put links attached to that in the description of the YouTube video, just in case anyone wants to check that out and support if they can.
Yeah.
So but yeah, it's obviously it's a tragedy, but
hope everyone's holding in together, and it's not much else to say.
Yeah, but it's a strange one, because we'd planned this podcast around some really nice things that have been happening for us, and then with the news that came out a couple of days ago, it feels kind of
literally yesterday. I think
it was yesterday,
Monday,
wasn't it?
Yeah.
It's hard to sort of, everything pales in comparison, doesn't it, when something happens like this? Like,
yeah, exactly.
So we would have felt a bit strange not saying anything.
Like I was saying before, like it was like, do we say something? And it's like, well, yeah, because it's like the least you can do is just say that's, we're thinking of it, we're not pretending that hasn't happened.
Yeah,
because then it's almost like, because if everyone did that, you'd feel like, wow, why is nobody? It's as if nobody cares, and
why are we pretending that the thing isn't happening?
Definitely, which is like,
it feels like there's an added difficulty here, because it's like, with what we use this platform for is always for, trying to, find positives and find the good. And there are some situations like this where it's like the idea of trying to take something good from the inherent tragedy, it's almost like it's not really doable.
You can't really do it.
It sort of is. I feel like in these kind of situations, you have to accept them and process them for what they are, and just try and have as much sympathy and
just awareness
awareness, I suppose. But
definitely,
hopefully, with the charities that are there, hopefully that will alleviate some of the, especially for like the for Alder and for some of the first responders, and some of the families. Hopefully that'll alleviate some of the pressure it's
definitely something there as well, which is amazing. And
it's a great thing that within a day a community's been formed, and it's like, how can we, if there's anything that we can do to help,
it's amazing,
which is really powerful and really strong. Thoughts with everybody. Okay,
should we start?
And I'm not quite sure how, because
well, that's the thing. It's like, I think that if you don't address something and kind of go in this thing, like you say, pretending something hasn't happened, it's like, I don't know, not that everybody who has any sense of a platform should always use it and say everything, but this has happened yesterday. It's happened barely 30 minutes away from where we live. It's awful. And it's like, saying something in respect of what's happened is good, but then it's like, okay, it reinforces this thing of like, okay, like you can't, because we're lucky that we haven't been like personally affected by it. It's like, right, okay, what can you do now to like do anything you can, but then also try your best to go about things as you would in a good way, and be mindful.
But I think that's a big thing, isn't it? It's that thing of being like, we woke up this morning with none of that heartache or tragedy, and that in itself is
very
like
different morning to a lot of people, I imagine.
So obviously the gratitude element is a big one.
Yeah, for sure.
But we do have, for the sake of what we do and for the sake of where we're at the minute, we've got some nice things that we can talk about, and we've got some good things that are happening.
And hopefully if you're listening to this, you maybe haven't been like super personally affected and stuff, so maybe we could even just provide a little bit of like comfort, a little bit of like take your mind off things for a bit, like let's
talk about some
nice
things, but still have that awareness of what's going on, and acknowledgement and respect it for what it is.
Of course. Okay. So what's new for us?
Well, people will know at this point what's going on, won't they? Because we'll have announced it on socials.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, but should we set it up? Should we drag it out and make it a big build up? Or
what should we do? Or should we say like?
Or do we actually do the thing?
Should we say?
Should we say it? Yeah.
That. So this podcast.
Here we go. Here it is.
Is kindly sponsored.
Here we go.
By our favourite coffee shop, Bean Coffee. It's amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Ooh. I'm getting notes of
emptiness.
Yeah, these are empty.
Yeah.
This is empty. My real bean coffee's here though.
Yeah, that's a good
my actual bean coffee, but this doesn't have the logo on it, so
it doesn't
quite give the same effect. But yeah, we've had some meetings and some discussions with some of the people at Bean who we've like had a relationship with now for a few years, since it's like kind of been our local
genuinely
coffee shop.
We were in the city when they're I think they're independent to Liverpool right now.
Yeah, it's just Liverpool.
And we were there when they opened their first shop, and we met the team like within. It was very quick when they first opened.
Yeah, and it just became our regular spot every day.
We genuinely loved the vibe and the people and the coffee, and we basically just started to make friendships with the people in there, which felt great because we would go in there and speak to the people. We'd get to know like what's going on with them, which was great, and that's been happening for like a year, 2 years or something.
Yeah.
And then it sort of evolved, and it's just have we sort of mixed. It's okay to mix this in with the actual sponsor thing, isn't it? Like the story of we're giving backstory, right?
For sure.
We've never done sponsors before, so how does this work?
I know,
how does this?
I think like it's just cool, like having going to Bean for so long, like you say, getting to know the team, seeing them as like friends that we see.
Yeah.
Like you see people every day. I feel like part of the joy of having a local spot is the relationships that you build with the people there, and
definitely.
And
we know all the staff names. We know a lot of their like what they do. Like we speak to them every day.
Literally.
It's great.
Yeah, and they're all great, and it's a lovely part of our day. It's kind of like a bit of a ritual for us. We'll have our sort of morning where we'll go to the gym together, which is lovely, or we'll do some form of exercise, and then we're both just so looking forward to going and getting our like usually first and only coffee for the day.
Yeah.
It's a rare one that we'll go back and get another one unless we've got a super busy day and we're like, we need a second coffee.
But it's always the first place. It's
always the first place. We're straight in there. It's almost muscle memory now.
Yeah,
it's
definitely.
And then we rock up, we see the people. For so long we had like the same order, so everyone knows. It's the type of place where people know you're like usual, and there's a lot of local regulars and stuff, which is lovely.
Yeah, and all the staff members are like very creative. They've got their own things going on. They've got their own projects going on, which is great. I feel as if we should, with Mario, because he was he helped this sort of like come to fruition. Yeah, he's definitely
the spearhead.
And he does a lot. He's been doing some stuff for Alder Hey charity as well, which is just
doing,
great.
Like cycling to London to Amsterdam,
raising money for.
Yeah, I think he's doing a static cycle
at Bean, which is just fantastic.
Which is very cool.
So I feel like we should give him a bit of a personal nod, just to say thanks a lot for help. But if it'd be nice to maybe talk about how this came about, because I feel like there's a very nice thing for us of, well, for me definitely, of being like, well, we started the podcast back in January, was it?
It was January.
January, yeah. And it's July now, and it's like, okay, for not that these sponsors don't matter. It's not, that's not why you do these kind of things.
No,
and
not
we
at all.
never set out as being like, great, let's do this so we can get a sponsor.
No.
It was only that when we started getting a couple more views and regular things going on, it was like, it'd be really cool, it'd be really great if we could sort of show off. And we always talked about Bean. We always, because we're in there every day.
We're in there every day. We talked about it at the very beginning about this idea of like, how cool would it be if we were sponsored with Bean? And we were like,
and it was always a bit of a not a pipe dream, but it was always a bit of like, oh, that'd be a nice idea, but like, how do you get that into working? And I feel like it'd be nice to maybe just talk about how that came about, because it's a nice cathartic experience, I feel.
For sure, yeah, definitely.
Just quickly before we get into that as well, a thing that we're going to put in the description is that you can download the Bean app, which literally it's totally free. Yeah. And I think it's like a reward scheme, isn't it?
Yeah, it's like a loyalty scheme.
Card.
Yeah, so they've got their own app now. So instead of taking your card to get stamped for, like, you get like your 10th coffee free, now it's all on the app. So it's less paper waste, and you never forget it. Then you can have, like, I think you sign up, you get your first coffee for free, and then you just scan the app. That's a definite? I'm pretty sure that's the case. Yeah. Okay. I'm pretty sure. If it's not, I'm sorry. So. But I'm pretty sure that's the case.
But it's definitely free. And,
yeah, it's totally free. It's just like a loyalty card on your phone. And then I think they have, like, you might get like email updates about new blends and, like, new roasts and things like that are on offer, which is pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And yeah, it's just cool. It's a cool step for them,
Definitely. And you can access that in the description.
Yeah.
And the coffee genuinely is lovely. I always hated coffee, never liked tea, and then Bean was, I feel like, that we started going in, and it was like,
you really weren't a big like coffee drinker or anything.
I wasn't. And now I've become one of those people that love it, and I really know, well, I don't really know, but I really like that process of going in and getting my coffee, having a coffee in the morning after my gym routine. It's a great process for me,
definitely.
And I feel as if what a thing, an extra thing there is, it's like the coffee app. If someone like blindfolded me and was like, here's coffee from Bean, here's coffee from whatever, I'm not sure I'd be able to tell the difference. But I feel as if one of the things that I am attached to are the people who are there, and the way how they've made me feel. They always make a point of asking me how I'm doing, what's going on with me. They champion if I'm doing something good, they champion it. They make me feel very special about those kind of things.
Me too.
So it's like, it's like great. We get to what's the not the opposite to condone. It's like embrace. What's the word? Like I don't know. I know what you're trying to say. There's a word, but it feels great to be able to say that the coffee's great, but the people are awesome.
Yeah,
and it's great to be able to show them off and be like, you should go and check out Bean, because the people are great and the community around there is great. Yeah. And
even though they've got a few coffee shops around Liverpool, but it is like a proper core indie Liverpool coffee shop, like one of the first from 2009, I think, is when they first started.
Jeez.
So they're OG, and you go in, you're always going to have a nice chat, which is a big thing when I'm not in Liverpool, and I don't get to go to Bean if I'm working at the weekend or something, and I go somewhere. There's some nice places, but I was in Manchester on Sunday. Went to get a coffee, no chinwag, no banter.
Sure.
No, like, and I always make a point of being like, hey, how's it going? And, stuff like that. And I get it. That might just be like depending on how busy the place is. But I feel like even when Bean's at its busiest, they've always got time for you.
Yeah, there's always how are you? How's your day going? What are you up to today? What's going on? Like, yeah, it's just lovely. And I know that you could have that anywhere, but I feel as if with maybe some of the bigger chains, And it's like, because
don't even get me started on the bigger chains.
I mean, I understand. I think, but like, you get the impression that they're very, very fast paced.
Yeah,
and
very.
it's kind of, the corporate thing is on, the corporate hooks are in.
Yeah.
And there's loads of franchises or whatever. I don't, I'm not talking bad about them. I just mean that there's a unique thing when you go into an indie place, like anything, like an indie record shop or an indie bakery, and it's like, wow, this is like Lunko. Oh my god,
perfect
do you know what I mean?
example. Oh bloody hell, that's the next one. We need to manifest a sponsorship from Lunko.
God, I know, that's just totally like but burn bean to the ground, just like go in there and just be doing this and like just like just we're off to Lunko now. No, we never do that. But yeah,
so thanks very much, Bean.
Thanks, Bean. Check them out in the description. But yeah, it may be just for the sake of just how that came about, because I feel like it's a positive story.
It is,
and it could probably take about 5 minutes.
Yeah,
and,
sure.
It was a couple of weeks ago. I was in Bean, and I was meeting up with somebody, and this is also a great thing to talk about to do with the comedy stuff and how that's been going for me, because Mario, who's one of the managers there, he was there, and he said, oh hey, I've seen some of your videos that you've been doing, your comedy stuff. It's really good, which is great, and that was lovely. And then he said, oh, we should do one here. We should do like something for Bean, like a barista style video or something like that. And I was like, oh great, like that'd be amazing. That's to have a space and to have someone ask you, to have someone be like, I've seen the stuff you're putting out.
That's really cool.
Let's
it's like someone just like kind of sticking their neck out for you for like doesn't benefit them in any way.
100%.
It's really nice.
And I'll be honest, there was an element of me that was like this, and I think it's comes from the music scene, that I was like, oh yeah, no, that'll never happen. I was like that. That's a nice thing to say, but that'll never come to anything. Blah, like whatever.
People say stuff, don't they, just in the moment.
And then I was so nicely surprised when then, we sort of talked about it some more, and he was totally game, and he was like, no, like let's like next week come in, let's get a day,
just like that,
and then called up my friend Ben, and he came to do some filming, which is great. And now I think Ben is now doing some filming for Mario's the cycle thing, so that's really great, cool. Because it's like that's another thing of like independent businesses and creatives being connected, which is awesome. But then we did the shoot, which the coffee shoot, the Bad Barista sketch, which was a lot of fun, hilarious. It was a lot of fun. Lots of great feedback about that. And then after the shoot, we sat down and we were like, oh, because Mario seems like he's the kind of guy that's got a lot of entrepreneurial spirit. He's got a lot of creative juice, passion. He's got a lot of passion, community, and creatives and stuff, which is great. And then we just sort of like low-key pitched ourselves. It sort of happened organically though, didn't it? We were talking about ideas for doing more filming and ideas for how we can help support each other, and he knew that we had the podcast, and then we sort of said, well, that'd be a good opportunity to support one another, where it's like we sort of we kind of get endorse is the word. Endorse. We sort of get to endorse each other, and continue to work together, and to potentially keep making stuff like with comedy and stuff, but also having them on the podcast and stuff, and expanding in that in that way. And then again, I was like, I think when we left that meeting, there was still an element of like, oh, it sounds nice, doesn't it? But whether or not it happens. And then we edited the video, met back up with Mario, and we were all. Well, we got back that day, and we're like straight away. Oh, we did like a formal pitch, didn't we? Like a proper formal thing, a big thing. Like an email of like, this is what we want to do. This is where we see this going. This is why we could help you. This is how you could help us. And we got like a little picture and stuff. We set up a podcast and was like, oh, like this is what it could be like. That's a good point, actually. We thought, okay, let's get on this quick, and let's create a very concise but detailed pitch about why this would be good. And then a week went by. We went back to Bean, did the edit, showed Mario the edit of the sketch, and then we just said like, so what do you think about the whole affiliate thing? and it was pretty much a good to go thing. It was like, yeah, let's
Yeah.
just do it. And it was great because and then we left there and it was like, wow, so
it was so like casual and
yeah,
stuff as well, which is so nice and does feel very representative of like of who, like, not only Mario but like being in general. There's this thing of like, yeah, like we can help, we can support, we can like we can do this and stuff. Whereas, you know, I don't know, you get the sense sometimes when there's these like huge scale sponsorships and endorsements that there's like contracts and, you know, all this stuff and things like that. So
whereas this just felt like a nice,
like
it's more like it's like a friendship deal. It's like we're mates, you know us, you're mates, we're independent, you're independent, should we set this up and do this thing? And it's
Definitely.
like, yeah, great, cool, brilliant, like, and that feels great. That feels like the perfect the perfect combination.
It's one of them things as well. I think something that you and me talk about so much, like, is this idea of like, you have this idea and then you think that could be cool, and then you think, okay, I'm not going to wait until someone just hands me that and opens that door or creates that thing, because even though that might happen one in a million or something, it's like, okay, well, what can I do? What can we do? What can you do? What are some things that I can do to like create this opportunity and work towards something? And, you know, it's like no one's really like, not to like play a violin for us, but no one's really like supporting us in that way. Like, no one's like, you know, we're not managed or anything. No one's like,
no, but neither will a billion other people.
So true. No, yeah, so true. And then, you know, you kind of have this thing, and then, you know, when we did first start the podcast, that was something that we mentioned would be really cool.
I think you've dropped it in every single podcast at the start. Have. You were like, you know, and hopefully we'll get a sponsor soon.
Literally,
you know, like,
oh, it'd be cool to go back and listen to see when we've said it. But
you do manifest these things,
you do,
you know. And
but like the word manifest is an interesting one, isn't it? Because it's kind of like,
well, you know, that whole like, you know, Jim Carrey. Like, you know, I think Jim Carrey's great.
Check and stuff.
Yeah, and it's, you know, I think there is you know, that's a very I can't say.
Or like Noel Edmonds, like saying that he like manifested his cancer away and stuff like that. Like,
I remember that. Yeah,
that sort of side of it is all a little bit.
It's taken something to a big extreme, and it's like that thing where it's like one extreme.
It's a little bit dangerous.
Yeah, it can be. But I think the idea of being like, okay, you have a picture for something. Where do you want this to go? Okay, well, you know, it'd be really cool to get some sort of, you know, we're running a podcast. Why wouldn't it be cool to get some low-key sponsor from an independent place that we like? That's you know, don't like with, you know, you don't I don't know, Schwarzkopf, are they big still? I remember the hair products from they used to be sponsored on E4. Remember that? Schwarzkopf sponsors Friends on E4.
I remember it being Schlur. Was it Schlur or no? What's that fizzy? It used to be a fizzy drink for Friends.
Appetizer.
Was it Appetizer?
It was Appetizer,
was it? Right, not oh right, Schlur was like the knockoff stuff.
Yeah.
No.
But you know,
story about Schlur. I remember once when there was a Tesco in Runcorn.
Yeah.
Me and my mates went in Tesco, and Schlur is like non-alcoholic. It's, you know, it's
in a bottle though, isn't it?
It's in a fancy bottle that makes you think it's alcohol.
Yeah.
And we were like, we're gonna get loads of bottles of Schlur. We're gonna go and like sit in the park, and so it's gonna be dead cool. And we went to like the self-service thing because that was new as well. Scanned it, and it came up as a penny instead of like $1.99.
Yeah.
Literally 1p, and we were all like, "Oh my god, this is like, it's broke." But like,
how old were you?
I don't know, maybe like 11.
They had self-service when you were 11.
Yeah.
Really?
I swear to God, I'm not making this up.
Okay.
Because I remember it so clearly that there was no one there manning it.
Yeah.
Like, that's how. Yeah, it must have been. They must have had them at that time.
I don't know, honey. That's how old are you now? You're 27. So 11. So 16 years ago.
Yeah, they defo had self-service.
Okay.
And we scanned them through, and they came up as a penny on the thing, and we were like, "Oh my god, this is so cool!"
Wow.
So we got like 5 bottles for 5p. We were like, "Oh my god!"
Nice.
But yeah.
Nice. Then did you go and get drunk?
Yeah.
Yeah. Kid drunk.
Yeah.
It's like
there's no drunkenness at all, but it feels like you're getting drunk.
I had that. I used to do it when I used to drink lemonade out of a wine glass and think that I was genuinely getting
Like,
it's it's crazy, you know.
How old were you when you did that?
14, 15, I think.
18.
Yeah, but no, you know,
yeah.
the manifestation thing, it's like, I think there's a difference between that thing of like, you know, taking it to those extremes where it can start getting a bit dangerous and
Yeah.
maybe delusional or whatever.
Yeah.
But
And
that
kind of like a bit of laziness, like, oh, I'm just manifesting it, but I'm not actually doing anything.
there is a definite overtone, I think, of that thing of it's borderline psychopathic.
I know what you mean.
I'm picturing Dennis in
Always
the
Sunny.
Golden God. It's like, no,
Yeah.
it's, you know, this idea of like, I will make this thing and it will happen. It will just happen because it's owed to me, or it will because I want it. It will happen.
Yeah.
Whereas the idea of being
like a destiny thing.
yeah, that's it. Destiny,
you're like,
yeah.
I have got greatness and power at my destiny.
Yeah, that's
and
it.
that is what is on the cards for me. I know what you mean. It does borderline and sound quite delusional and like psychopathic and stuff.
To an extent, just the extreme version, you know.
Yeah.
I think there's the reality of being like, let's take a big dose of that and ground it in, okay, well, you got to go and you got to make
an attitude and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. So, and that's nice because it feels like, okay, great, like you know, that theory that we had in practice is now working.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, what would that look like if you kept doing that for 10 years? You
Exactly,
know, and what would that look like in 10 years time?
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
What do you think about like visualization of stuff? You know, people go like, oh, if you like want to achieve something, you just visualize yourself achieving it, and like keep that as like the image in your head.
Yeah.
So it's while you're working and while you're doing stuff. Like, what do you think of the power of visualization?
That's a good question. I think I have like a bit of a some of it. Again, I think it's just like a spectrum, isn't it? Because I'm sat there at my desk, I'm working, and I'm like, I really want a chimichanga. I've never had a chimichanga, by the way, ever. I don't even know what they are. Is it a hot dog with cheese on it and like chili?
No,
that's not it.
You just think that's just a chili dog.
What's a chimichanga?
I think a chimichanga is a Mexican dish.
Okay.
And they're sold like on like food trucks and like carts and stuff.
Yeah. But it is
I don't actually
well, you can have that with a chili dog as well.
I don't actually know what a chimichanga is.
Let us know in the comments what is a chimichanga. Yeah, do you like chimichangas? Let us know in the CMs.
It's definitely just a Mexican dish. There's cheese. There's tortillas.
It's I genuinely picture that as like a.
I think I'm thinking of enchiladas.
Yeah, enchiladas, because that's the wrap.
I definitely don't think it's a hot dog.
You don't think it's got a bun?
I don't think it's got a bun.
I think it's got a sausage in it.
I thought it was mincemeat.
You thought it was mincemeat?
Yeah.
That feels like an enchilada.
Yeah.
And if it's got cheese on it, that's definitely an enchilada.
I can't wait to Google what it is. Do you want them tonight? Whatever they are.
A chimichanga. Well, I've never had it before, so
yeah.
that could be really cool.
That could be fun.
But it sounds greasy. It sounds like there's a lot going on.
Yeah.
Mince, peppers, cheese.
It also sounds like a dance.
Do the chimichanga.
Yeah. Tonight
Everybody's
we're dancing
doing
the chimichanga.
a brand new dance now. Come on, baby, do the chimichanga. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. Yeah, I could go. I could. Yeah, maybe it'd be nice. It'd be nice to know what they are and then eat that.
Yeah.
But
so yeah, visualize.
I think, you know, it's like there's a obviously it's like, okay, I want to have that. I can have that.
Yeah.
That's not much of a visualization technique. But I do think that there is
visualizing my tea.
I mean, it kind of works because like that's a very easy way that you could get into the art of visualization.
Yeah.
What do you want for tea?
Yeah, visualize yourself eating it.
I want fish and chips. Well, let's go and get it. That's a very easy way.
Yeah.
But I think the other end of the thing, I've heard about, I've seen it in some ads and stuff where it's like, you know, what you want to be doing is like, say for example, there was something that I saw the other week and I tried to do it and it didn't work. It was this woman and it was only on Insta. It was on
like
an Instagram
meditation,
scroll.
Visualization.
Yeah, she was giving a talk and she was saying like it looked like it was from the 80s or 90s, and it was like I want you to say to yourself over and over again, you're gonna have the best interaction today with someone. That you're gonna have. It's gonna be the best interaction. It's gonna, you know, and if you keep repeating it over and over again, you will. And I think, okay, well, there's an element of delusion there, because if I just delude myself to believing that I'm going to have an interaction with someone that's amazing, of course it's going to be amazing because I tell myself it's amazing.
Yeah.
But in reality, was it amazing, or was it just a nice conversation with someone?
Yeah.
Did someone come up to me and say, I absolutely love your vibe, here's £1 million.
Yeah.
Now that's obviously like, that's because that's delusional, that's never going to happen.
Yeah.
But there's an element of delusion there, and I tried it, and I was like just going about my day to day, and I remember what was going on. There was like I was running an open mic, and the conversations that I had with people were good. They were friendly enough. Everything was great, cool. Oh yeah, like, oh, what you did, brilliant, great, cool. But I think I had this idea for me that what was going to happen was someone was going to come up to me and say, I have been seeing these videos you've been putting out, we should collab.
Yeah.
We should do something. And that's what I was setting up.
I get you.
And I feel like I was trying to channel into that a bit, like being like, hey, like, you've been into comedy, you've been doing this kind of...
Yeah.
And it didn't happen. And then I was like, okay, well, I was really working on that, but nothing.
Yeah.
I didn't even get like a 1% of it, you know.
But then
like,
don't you think it's like, I love your outfit, by the way.
Guess where I got this whole outfit from, guys? Let us know in the comments where you think.
Tell us what chimichanga is, and then guess where Mike
got all of these. I don't know if you can see this, but here's a nice brown. I'll describe it for the people listening. This is a nice brown, lightweight. I never usually go for. When was the last time you saw me in one of these?
A short sleeve
shirt.
Yeah. I don't think you've owned one ever.
Not since I was in high school, for sure. And I used to wear a Hawaiian shirt.
I was just about to say, it's giving me like Hawaiian vibes.
It's a brown, very lightweight, thin shirt, t-shirt, sleeveless t-shirt.
Does feel nice.
It yeah. And then these pants, I'm gonna like mocha.
Yeah. Lovely mocha
linen
trouser.
Have a guess. Where, and then you know where I got them from, obviously.
Yeah. Primark.
Lovely. And the pants were £15, and the top was, I think, £12.
Smashing outfit.
And you know, I don't know what's wrong with me, because for a while I feel like I've maybe had this. I used to shop in Primark exclusively when I was a babber, and then I was like, oh, you know, I've maybe moved away from Primark in my older years. Yeah. Went on I couldn't, you know, I needed some new clothes. I went everywhere. I couldn't find any clothes that fit or that looked good or that didn't cost a ridiculous amount of money, that were like £300 for a pair of, well, no, £150 for a pair of pants. And then I walked into Primark and I was like, what's going on? I actually look all right in these. Yeah. These look good. They're all right, and they're affordable. And this just sounds like an ad for Primark.
I know what you mean. For me, Primark, the experience of being in there isn't fun. Bean. Cheers. Chin chin. Oh. The experience of shopping in there isn't fun. I feel like it's very hustle and bustle. The stuff is all over the place, and that's not Primark's fault, and it's not anyone's fault really. It's just the way it is, like. And also, obviously, it's like quite notorious fast fashion of where things are made and mass produced and stuff. So I get it, but also, you know, you go in John Lewis down the road, you might find similar clothes to that are also made.
Well, you made that good point.
You know what I mean? Yeah, they're also made in like sweatshops, but the price tag is higher on them.
It's mad, isn't it?
And it's like, unless you shop in second hand or from like reputable, super like the chain of production is incredibly tight. It's a sustainable brand, and usually with a hefty price tag as well. So I'm not even talking about designer stuff, because all of that is mostly made in sweatshops as well.
Well, you know, do you remember when I needed some gym gear and we went into Under Armour?
Yeah.
And I really liked, you know, I really liked the stuff in there. I thought it looked pretty good, and I thought
it's laid out really well.
It's laid out, it's presented,
good service and stuff.
And I remember going in there and being like, yeah, I basically just need a one of everything. Outfit. Yeah, because I've got nothing. And you know, it was going to set me back like over £100, and that's really difficult, because it's like, okay, well, look, I've not got that. I don't want to part with that money for those things, and I don't know where they make the stuff. Yeah. But there are a lot of, like you were saying, there are high street brands that you might think because you're paying more money, you're getting a better quality, but the reality is that you're actually not. And then I'm not here to endorse Primark or anything, but then it was like, okay, well, if I go to Primark and I'm there and I'm like, well, actually, I can get these clothes and they fit well and they feel well,
Yeah.
and I'm
Let's
not
see how
having
they
to.
wash now.
Oh, why is
'Cause
that a big
sometimes
thing?
I think that's sometimes the thing of that they're okay and then you wash them and it's.
Why didn't you say that?
No, but we always wash
I was
on
on
cold.
I was on the blower to you saying how much I love these and being like, oh.
No, but we always wash on cold and we never use our dryer either. That prolongs the life of your clothes a lot.
Okay, well, all right.
But no, I get you. And also, you're not like a mass consumer person. You went into Primark and bought a few nice things. You're not going to go back in there this week and buy a few more things. Then the
No,
next week a few more things. I think that's more of the problem. It's not so much sometimes where you buy things, because not everyone has the time or the resources to shop ethically and sustainably all the time.
Yeah.
Shopping secondhand has got its perks, but it can be time consuming, and then when you get the thing and it's not right, then you have to send it back, blah blah blah. So with any type of shopping, there's always gonna be some element of like, oh, it's not good for the planet, or it's not good, like it's exploitation and things.
Yeah.
But as long as you're doing it mindfully, where you're not going in there every week buying 10 or 20 new items for the hell of it because it's cheap.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean?
yeah.
I think maybe that's the thing more of like, you're not just buying it all and getting loads of things in, like, if you had that shirt in like 5 different colours, it's like,
No.
you don't really need that.
And I think it's the basic nature. The older that I've got, I've sort of, it's like I feel like I've been looking for a pair of pants for 100 years.
Yeah.
And I would either go into John Lewis or something, and I'd be like, these are too expensive. I can't part.
Or like you look at tailored places and you think, Jesus.
There's no like, or you'd go to other shops that are like thrift shops, and then they just don't fit. It's like it's a bit more friendly on the money, but nothing fits. Everything's baggy.
Yeah, there's one of everything.
There's one of
stuff,
yeah.
Which can be fun sometimes for a few pieces, but then
maybe for like a cool jacket that you can throw on that's kind of a novelty item. But when it's a basic thing, and then it's just like, okay, well, this was a basic thing done quite well.
But just wanted to have a side note to compliment your outfit.
Thanks. I think your outfit's lovely.
Thanks so much.
I can't think of a single flag that uses a combination of those colours.
No, I think you're right. I just love these colours together.
It's nice.
And this again, so this outfit's like, this skirt. You bought me this skirt. It was from John Lewis, and it was like 50 something quid. I went in there yesterday.
Could really use that money right now.
I went in there yesterday, and it's like 25 now, like on sale.
That's awesome.
So it's like, do you know what I mean? You feel a bit
that's
like.
Great.
And I think it is proper linen, so it's defo got wear out. You'll defo get more wear out of it, whereas some things are like linen polyester. Mostly polyester and then a bit of linen, or mostly polyester, which is like not the best longevity material.
Okay. Yeah.
I got this from my top from like a vintage like seller at a market I was at.
Nice.
And then this was like £6.
That's nice.
So I really thought that was cute, and it feels good. Like it feels like thick and linen and like nice. And then I've had this shirt since I was like 17, because I've had it from college.
I wear that shirt all the time.
I love this shirt.
I think it's my favourite shirt.
It's so light and flowy.
It's great.
I love the colour. The colour's
lovely.
just great. It looks great on you as well.
Oh, thank you. It looks great on you too.
Thanks.
It always feels like it's mine because I wear it all the time, but it was yours, wasn't it?
It is mine.
It's been
but I love that we both wear it.
It's been with us for as long as we've been together.
Literally, yeah. Before even.
Even before? Yeah. That's crazy.
Which is a cool, that's like, I think that is a good little all the semicircles where it's like, okay, some things you get new and they're quality pieces that are made well. Some things you pick up from vintage or secondhand or Depop, and then some things it's like there's actually no good reason why I wouldn't have had this all these years because it's not.
Sure.
It's lasted. It's not holy. It's still soft.
100%. Yeah.
It's like, if it loses a button, you can just mend it. So maybe just doing your best to keep those 3 things in balance is good.
Mm-hmm.
But just dead quick about the visualization thing.
Yeah, it's good.
Like you saying that you did this meditation about visualizing something that's going to happen that day. So then you are kind of purposefully seeking that out in ways. You doing that is defo increasing the chances of having those things.
It is, yeah.
It's almost like, okay, you might not have had that interaction that day that has been this amazing life-changing thing, but you've had it in the back of your mind even to like put yourself out there in that way to then create more chances and attract more people like that. So then I think that's maybe what manifestation visualization that means to me. It's like, okay, you can have that perspective and outlook and attitude and like trying to visualize something and then attract it and then work towards it and see it with your like lens. But it doesn't mean then that if it doesn't just happen at the instant then it's not going to work, or that doesn't mean then if things go wrong, because they're all like just opportunities to like change it and stuff, you know.
I think for me the important like distinction is having that voice or having that perspective, but not allowing yourself to become deluded to this thing of like, I remember,
or feeling like entitled to something.
Yeah, I remember that. Do you remember the book The Secret? Do you remember that?
I've never read it, you know, but I know of it.
For some in high school, I remember it being massive amongst like, well, maybe not massive. I remember
quite advanced for high schoolers.
I had a mate of mine. I remember that his mum, I remember she talked about it all the time.
Wow.
And we hung out a lot, so there was a lot of, not me and his mum, but me and my friend and his mum. And I remember there was a period of, there was lots of talk about it, and then I remember it sort of got filtered through into our friendship group a little bit, and then people were talking about it.
That's so interesting. That sounds so like advanced. Like literally me and my mates were like,
yeah,
we didn't read.
I mean, it's from what I remember, it's a kind of, it looks like a small book with
is it?
And I've not read it, but I remember
I'm picturing it being massive for some reason.
No, I don't think so. No. But I just remember there being this thing of like, okay, like it's all very nice saying like, okay, well, yeah, visualize the thing you want and it'll happen, and set yourself up for this and it'll happen, blah blah blah. But it just kind of felt almost culty. You know, of being like, it's, but I can't. I'm looking at you guys, or I'm looking at the lay of the land here, and it doesn't look like the everyone's living their best life, despite the fact that you're talking about this concept in a way that's so revered. Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So I feel as if like for me, the idea is like, you should wake up and you should reaffirm things to yourself. You should be like, you're really lucky. You've got your health. Be nice to people. Be nice to yourself as well. Like don't talk down to yourself mentally, because what does that mean? Talk people up, because you'll get that back. Or like, don't worry. For me, it's like, don't worry about pointless stuff. Doesn't matter. If I walk around with this anxious mindset, everything I do is going to be driven by those anxieties. You know, have that confidence, and you'll. Yeah, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. That's real, and I feel like those are day-to-day affirmations that you can do. But the idea of being like, oh no, everything's amazing, I'm chasing this thing, and I'm blah blah blah, but then it's like, oh yeah, but you still...
There's a bit of a fragility there as well, isn't there? Like when you put so much emphasis on this thing, and then...
Are you being honest with yourself? Are you grounding that in something real? Or is it sort of arbitrary words that don't really mean anything, you know?
I know what you mean, yeah.
That's just, I feel like that's an important thing for me.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean. Sense.
Yeah. Do you think that you visualize a lot? Do you think that you have this process where it's like, okay, you set a goal, or you set something where it's like you set something that you want to do, and then you do everything you can to run at that and to hit that? Or do you have a slightly different process where it takes more time, or you have to go through more of a process to get to that place?
I think I used to be the second one.
Yeah.
But I think recently I've been like, here's the idea, it comes in your head very quickly. It's like, okay, I could do that, I could make that work, I could try that.
Nice.
And then I'm like, yeah, what you said, just like, I'm just running at that.
Great.
With everything I've got. Great. And like not taking no for an answer, and always coming back with something else and being like, okay, what about this? And
how does that feel when you're like, there's a vulnerability that comes with that, because there's the flip side to that is you have to very quickly begot and Sodom begot Gomorrah. You have to
is that Latin?
What?
Sodom begot...
No, that's from the Bible.
Oh, is it?
Sodom and Gomorrah.
I've never heard it.
I think my initial, what I want to say to that is, it's about two brothers bumming.
I was going to say,
and I don't think that's...
Defo bad, like it's defo Latin or something.
Sodomy,
Sodomy, yeah.
But I think Sodom is a city in the Bible, and but I think it is to do with I think that's the.
Yeah, interesting.
Anyway, you can interpret it a million and one ways, can't you?
Yeah, there's definitely a vulnerability there because you have to put yourself out there, and again, it's kind of just like pitching yourself or pitching something to someone, and trying to make it sound like it's. Even though I'm trying to think of this as for me, I've got to make it something that is appealing to you and like how I can come across and stuff and things like that. So there is like a vulnerability there, and there's a bit of a, but I always try and think to myself though, like the worst thing they can say is no. They're not gonna like, I can't be embarrassed if they say no, or I can't feel like. Well,
but there was also, so there is that, but there's also this, that we were talking about it a little bit the other day of like, it's that idea of like, am I in the wrong here for like chasing this hard? Am I putting something on other people? Like, is this making it, it's that idea of second guessing yourself and being like, am I coming at this too much? Am I inconveniencing people because I'm in their face a lot, or do you know what I mean?
I know what you mean.
It's like you almost feel like,
I'm a
nuisance. I'm bothering people.
Yeah.
I'm disrupting the status quo.
Yeah.
And that can feel a bit.
I can definitely have that, but again, all I can do is be confident there that I know that I'm a considerate person.
You are.
I'm very like, if someone's doing something for me that is like, that's nice of them there, I'm gonna definitely make them aware of that. Like,
definitely.
I would never take anything that anyone did for me for granted, or like if someone's like I got a message recently totally out of the blue from someone with an opportunity to like do something, to like work with them and do stuff, and I thought to myself like, oh my god, this person is just like, there's nothing in it for them. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's no like, it's no skin off their back, but there's also nothing in it for them. Like, they might not think too much of it. They might just be like, oh well, yeah, do this. Just ask them if they want to do that, and let them know that they can do that. But I'm like, to me that means a lot, because like, you've given me an opportunity there that I wouldn't have had otherwise. That's a huge thing, and I'm definitely going to make that person aware of it and like say thank you and say I appreciate it. And I don't think I think one of the first things that I say is always like, oh, like if I could just have a minute of your time to speak to you about this. And at the end, I'm always like, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me or read this. Have a lovely rest of your week, and let me know how we could, if this doesn't sound good, let me know how we could change it to make it work. I'm always very like, I don't think I'm ever going into anything being like, something just came on my desk and it's the best thing I've ever seen, and this is what needs to happen, and this is how it's all about me. I'm always trying to think there's a person on the other end of this that doesn't really do anything for them, but I want to make sure that I'm being like considerate and stuff. And I definitely have it a little bit there where I worry and think like, oh no, like, yeah, like you say, like I'm disrupting something, but then reminding yourself and like affirming that thing of like, yeah, but look, like you've asked, you've been nice, like if they really felt that way, hopefully they could have it in themselves to like tell you that it's not working and things like that. So I try and think that, and try and not put words in other people's mouths and things like that. And and yeah, but I think I do visualize things. I don't necessarily visualize things like, for example, with the pop-ups at 92, I defo feel like if I visualize someone, she's running them, she's doing her best, she's trying to create opportunities for people, trying to bring a community together, she's trying to put on something, like she's doing it all herself. If I can like visualize that woman doing that, and she's not anxious or worried or like fretting about it, I kind of visualize that, and then hope that like kind of helps me act that way. Do you know what I mean? Like I'll visualize how that would look, and what could go right, and what are the good things there.
Definitely,
instead of leaning into like things of like worry or fear or anxiety and stuff. So
well, that's a
weird
good
thing. It's almost like, it's obviously so basic, but and I don't really think I like suffer from anxiety. I just have like the normal level of anxiety about normal things. But if I'm like, yeah, just like visualize someone who isn't anxious about this, like how would they do it, and then try and do that. It's like a fake it till you make it thing, I guess.
Yeah,
like,
yeah, I get that. Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
Or like even with driving, like I used to be so anxious about driving, but then I thought, no, like just try and visualize yourself, or visualize someone that isn't anxious about this, and just do what they do, and it takes a bit of the pressure off, and helps you. Or like if you're trying to stop a bad habit. Yeah. Visualize someone that doesn't have that bad habit and how they would act.
Yeah, that's a really good. I feel like that's a good visualization technique of being like you dealt with a situation,
how
or
would
you've
they
got
deal with it.
What would the best version of you look like in handling this problem? What would they say? What would they do? How would they carry themselves and address certain issues?
Exactly.
And that's really good, because it's not always easy then doing that and being like, okay, well now I have to just lose all this sense of anxiety, or I've got to get out of my own head and start thinking about things.
And it just happens overnight and suddenly you're fine.
Yeah,
no, it's definitely a longer,
challenging.
I'd definitely say it's a longer process in terms of that sort of side of it, like visualization and stuff. It's not like immediate effects. It's definitely a longer program.
Yeah, for sure. But it's a process, and it's an important one, because I still feel like I have those. Like, I feel like I am at heart, I'm an anxious person. I feel like that's deep rooted in me, and I feel as if that my day to day, I go pretty good with not being anxious and worried, and it's not something I carry with me every day. Maybe in subtle ways, like, you know, I might be carrying certain tension or certain just general anxiety in places, but like exercise and eating good and good sleep is good for that. But then I will have like these minor blips throughout my life where I'm like, where it'll just spike, and I'll be like, oh my god, and you lose all sense of rationality, and you lose all sense of perspective, and
it's horrible.
It's weird, because you try and ration it, and you try and you'll sit there. I'll sit there and I'll be like, yeah, no, that's logical. That makes sense.
But your skin is telling you something different.
The whole body is just like, no, that's not. It's not that easy. You know.
I definitely have it. It's like it is in your body. Like when I have bad anxious little lulls, I feel like it's like in every cell of my skin.
Yeah, for sure.
It's and it's there. And it's like you can't shake it off, and
I always feel it in the pit. It's like right in my stomach. It's like a big stomach thing for me, where it's like I can almost feel the.
And it's in here.
Yeah, and it's like something will hit me mentally, and it's like I can actually feel the thing get released into me, which is like, oh no, and then it feels.
I can even feel talking about it now. I can feel my skin going like, and I feel it at the back of my neck as well, like feeling like. Literal, like my skin as an organ is anxious. Yeah.
Weird. But I've tried to rationalize that kind of stuff with being like, whenever you do something that's like, I'm gonna you know, deviate from what everybody else is doing, or what is expected, or what is the norm, and I'm gonna try and do something, and that could be anything: pop-ups, stalls, crafts, running your own things, music, comedy, whatever. I've or stuff where it's like, well, I've been in finance my whole life, and now I want to go and become a car salesman or something that's totally more to do with, you know, not a creative thing. Like you're always going to have these things where it's like, well, there's going to be things there that you're gonna have to navigate that you're not used to, and resistance, and well, how do you deal with this? What does this look like? Who's here to fight your corner with you? Nobody. It's me, and it's. Yeah, and I've got to learn how to do this. No
one's coming, Harry.
It's just you. So, and I feel as if that isn't it. It's hand in hand with that thing of being like, take the risk, take the chance. Like, there's going to be great things that happen, but there'll also be things that'll happen that are absolutely nerve wracking. And it's only you to. And you can't really have one without the other. You can't, and I feel. And I feel as if the counter to that would be like, well, you'd never move out of the lane, because like you're never challenging or like pushing yourself out of your comfort zone. It's too scary. What if this happens? What if that happens? What if like this, you know, doesn't go this way, and I've got to deal with this? And it's like, I know, but that is just it's like the price you pay, isn't it? Like if that feeling is like
the cost of
Yeah.
what you're doing, you
Yeah.
know, and that's like cost of like personal greatness, like, you know.
And the more I feel like for me, the more I feel that that anxiety or that feeling in my stomach, whereas in the past it would have been a indication for me to get away from it and to be like, yeah, don't do that, go and do something else, but pretend you never did that, or it doesn't exist because it was so horrible to deal with. Now it's like, yeah, it really sucks, but you need to lean into it, like even more so, like feel even more worried, you know, getting more people's faces, like state your case or your intention even more than what you did. Don't second. That's a big thing for me as well, like the second guessing, like constantly being like, is this, you know, is this right, or like, am I doing this right, or is this the right thing?
I get that a lot.
And I feel like the thing is, it's like there is no right way. It's just the way you're doing it, and you have to learn.
And you have to try. You don't, even if you don't know it's the right thing right now, you have to just try it. Yeah. Because the only way you'll know if it's the right thing is if you try it.
That's it. Yeah.
Speaking of that, should we like announce our little third series idea?
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. Why don't you announce it? Because you were the one that you made it up.
Okay. So last episode was like a fill-in check-in of the end of the second season, and this episode's kind of been just about what's, like, you know, it's like an announcement episode. So then the next episode we're gonna do a whole season of like hopefully 10 episodes that's all about, like, it's gonna be like an advice session. So we want to put out every week, we want to put out an anonymous like advice question thing where someone can total comfort, like anonymously ask for a piece of advice, a question, something's bothering you, something's, you know, you've got a situation you don't know how to handle or anything, and then all anonymous, we'll pick one and then we'll do the podcast on it, and it can be anything, and you know, hopefully it can be something that we can be like, oh, actually, like, how would we actually respond to this?
Yeah, as if it was like an agony aunt, or like you know, like if we had sorry.
Yeah, go on.
No, I was gonna say, like, not if we had children, but like if there was someone very close to us that was like, you know, there is this thing that I have a question about, and it's like, well, that would be that's specific to them and not about us, you know, then how we would go about dealing with that issue. And I think that could be helpful as well, because I like, even with things that I would ask about 3 years ago, if I had an issue, it's like, how do I go about dealing with that? The me 3 years ago couldn't even begin to process how I could deal with certain things, or what things I would need to get past that. If 3 years ago someone would have said to me, stop smoking, man, and lose some weight and go to the gym, I'd have been this person that's like, oh, shut up, like that's so not the problem, you know. And so that could be really fun. I'm looking forward to doing some stuff there.
And you know, it could be that way. Each week is going to be different. It gives us an opportunity to actually feel a little bit like we're directly helping
and to talk
someone
to
with something, but hopefully, you know, whatever advice topic it can be, hopefully it can be something that anyone could take away from it, and then that we could be like, oh yeah, that's, what is our advice for that? Like, what would we do? Like, what are some things, instances, maybe personal things that we've gone through that have been similar that we can share,
definitely,
and stuff like that as well. And like, it can be like any topic is a good topic, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely.
So
so that's what's coming next week.
So we'll have, when you hear this, so there'll be a post today all about being, and then we'll do a little podcast video as well about today, and then we'll put it out as like a little link on our Instagram that you can follow to submit an anonymous advice, or if you don't want to be anonymous and you want to just shoot us a DM on Instagram,
that's
or something,
totally fine as well.
That's fine as well. We would never like mention any names or anything. We'll change all the names to silly names.
That's good. I like that. I like that a lot. Let's do that. Okay.
Okay, cool.
Okay, brilliant. So thanks so much for joining us again for another episode.
And thanks to Bean.
And thank you very much, Bean. Check out all the stuff in the description, the charities and for Bean. And have a lovely week.
And we can't wait to
see you next week.
Take care.
Bye.
Give your loved ones a hug.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and give yourself a hug.
I do that sometimes.
I never do.
It's nice.
I just get in a cold shower.
Sometimes I'm like,
Yeah.
you're doing good.
No, I'm trying to do that more for myself. I'm trying to
Yeah.
be more affectionate to myself.
Yeah.
Affectionate? Be more like I snog myself. Be more
Empathetic?
empathetic, understanding, nurturing to myself.
That's good, yeah.
Yeah.
See you later, guys.
See you guys. Bye.
Bye. The wrong
Bum,
way to
bum, bum.